No, I didn't know if I was already live on my recording. But yeah, finally it was a late decision though. But I feel so inspired today so as to decide myself on going live because this afternoon I shall be having a long trip to the northwest and proceeding to the north by early tomorrow because of an invitation by a friend who would like to have me jam on his event tomorrow, but over and above, my excitement always is I have proven it time and again in the past that when I am with this friend, I just become so productive because that is the moment that he would insist on doing recording even in the car while I'm driving to touch base on some concerns that he would like to know, as probably he would need it in his mentoring and in his training. Okay, and that is also exactly the very opportunity for me by which I could share an insight, something that has been embedded deep within for quite some time, that never had its opportunity to get out as there was no one disturbing it from my resource, my reservoir. Okay, until I would be with this friend. I told you the story about the background of our friendship that happened sometime a decade back when a friend who sadly is already gone, who used to be the guidance counselor of a secondary school here in the city, was trying to link this guy to me one time as I was witnessing him do a talk. And I was so familiar with the guy though, but he was the speaker at that time when I come to worship. And just right before the program ended, as I went into my car to start the ignition, moving home because I don't want to be trapped by so many cars going out of the gate, it was then that this friend, who now is gone because he was one of the victims of COVID, ran to me as already inside the car, telling me that he has a friend he would like to introduce to me then. And as a matter of respecting the guy, because he was not only credible but respectable as well, okay, I went out of the car, waited for the guy who he wanted to introduce to me, and after the recession, as he was the speaker in that worship, that was when he called on the guy, brought to me, and we were introduced to each other, and that friendship began. Okay, so from out of that experience, I never came to know as the intent to see me in the pod that I was renting then, as I was still teaching in Naga City, and during the time when I had the opportunity to discover who I really was, that I failed to discover earlier before. And the pad that I was renting with an ambience close to, I used to occupy on a pad that looks like a mountain resort in its ambience. And them going to see me one afternoon, it chanced upon that earlier that day, I was able to prepare a fruit salad. I'm not a chef, not even a cook. But when I made my salad, it was very loaded with ingredients I didn't know. And me being alone in my pod, when they visited them, that was the only thing that was kunyari prepared for their visit. But it was just actually a day or two old in my ref. And when they came by with a few sandwich, and I believe there was ice cream that I stored then, so I served them with that. I never come to know that that was the day where this friend he introduced to me, who probably could have been already there in my life as he promised he would attend. Okay, I talked to him. He called me just to check and validate on his invitation. His invitation, if I indeed would be responding to it for tomorrow's event, and I said, why not? I am preparing, but I'm doing a live because it seems like the live experience that I dreaded on earlier became to be the experience that I would be missing each day. And so if there'd be days that pass that I cannot go live, that's when I realized I had this feeling that I missed something. And so before I would ever prepare for a trip today, late afternoon, as he was telling me, then I have to seize the opportunity to go live that I can post or upload on my YouTube as well as on my profile. My page, I just cannot bring it on for a live experience today as there is something I'm having it fixed. What I'm doing is I just made a record of this live so that I can get back to it and later probably post it in my Facebook page if it could still be accepted. Somehow, all right, I'm bringing you this story as this is brought by an excitement that I come to discover going live for a couple of days now that led me to have that feeling as if like it's getting to be a routine. All right. Earlier today, I talked to a very close friend also who opened a big resto bar somewhere in the south and was inviting me if I could go visit his coffee bar. And learning that I was into blogging, the more she became interested that I should visit her and take a look on that coffee shop or bar that she opened, hoping that I could somehow include it in my blog to advertise on. So she gave me actually a video, the view of how they had it inaugurated last month, okay, which guest I was very familiar about a larger percentage of the guests. I was supposed to be there had I received a call inviting me, but I was quite busy also last month because of my 1 week Boracay vacation, which probably fall along that line, I would suspect. But somehow I'm glad that we were able to talk, and she was asking me where I am right now, only to find out that she had been actually a constant viewer to my live. And she was confused why I'm doing this live almost at least in a week's time I'm there. But I told her, well, I went into YouTube as I'm now a YouTuber, as well as into Facebook. And I was trying to reiterate to her over the opportunities that she used to expose herself with, bigger events and inviting a large community of friends to support her as she is a very good leader. And she also brought with her a team of videographers and photographers where I chanced upon actually prodding her for the opportunity that was lost in the past as she could have uploaded it on a video on a professional Facebook account, if not YouTube, which based on my experience and my suspicion, if she had done it, she could have already monetized it this far. She has really been used to big event, which is very organized. I also witnessed to many of these events. She is also one lady who keeps inviting us for a trip outside of the country for several times. In fact, I chanced upon her invitation as I was a part of her team earlier when we were promoting a stem cell product in the early or late 20s. Oh no, towards early 2020. Year, 2 years before that, were when she had rolled on a program asking for anybody to qualify for a 15-day cruise in Australia and New Zealand. We luckily were able to qualify and been a part of that trip, and we were together. Okay, and probably she also missed my presence in many of her events as she had probably noticed us getting inactive there. But I told her that there is something I'm active right now, and that is on the area of vlogging. Okay, and so She was attracted over the idea that she started to invite me to come and see her shop, which I promised I would if I would have time. Okay, and there are many things I discover now that I come into this as life has got to change somehow. And as far as my routine is concerned, my day to day lifestyle is concerned, because earlier on, trying to enjoy our golden age, this is the tired era of a person, okay? Although I retired too early in my life because I failed in the business that I manned, passed it over to my son who also does not have the patience to handle, and so we have to close the business as nobody was capable of running it, which ended me a retire early in my life, and we were there enjoying, claiming that we had were into a retired status, and that made me, my life has been sometimes without direction and without a day-to-day challenge, as you are not handling a big business like before. You really could relax to a point that you would sometimes or many times feel unproductive, as there is nothing that motivates you to really get into what there is for a day, for a given day. And you'd wait on what events there is for you to be motivated, make preparations to be a party to that event. Glad that there are some friends who would like us to be a part of some events that they organized until I reached this far for a story you already knew in my previous series. Okay. And of course, in the challenge, as I used to always tell a story about my experience here in this life that I actually decide to embark on, uh, there are discoveries that sometimes would make you feel stressed, if not depressed, for unknown or for reasons you'll never come to notice about, that when your excitement shoots up and you give so much investment in terms of time and effort, not to count on the money. I mean, it will always build certain expectations that when the expectations are there for you to realize, which does not match normally with reality, sometimes it makes you feel disappointed that if you cannot even control, or you may wanted to control it as you have knowledge controlling it, but then the effect of sleepless nights and or wasted energy would just simply lead you to some depressive moods, if not moments. So I look forward to reflect on how I could sustain actually this decision, and good enough that I have had several buffers of knowledge that was stored within, that every time I would drive with a friend on sometimes joyride or just going to a trip for his event, those were the moments that I would come to discover that, yeah, I believe this is kind of an activity for me, as there are some inputs within that could be worth the while sharing to friends, even online. Well, we tried, as we posted it one by one, to read on how the friends would respond, especially on my page when majority of my friends there are not really the friends I developed compared to the friends I have in my profile. And it yielded quite an inspiring result, because we have to read on this as a barometer whether we have to move ahead on our decision. So inch by inch, plus the day-to-day discovery, or call it the synchronicities in life built about by the decision to also incorporate daily meditation. It does not even happen daily somehow, but more or less we were able to invest time to meditate. As I came to validate on the effects of meditation, which is actually a precursor to tapping your intuition, I get to realize that indeed what I had been reading and what I tried on were really true. And for its fruit and its benefit, now I'm trying to use, because I'd even be surprised every time my friend would ask me to talk on something without the necessary preparation. I would just depend on what wisdom, if you call it wisdom, there was that I stored on. And every moment I would upload it, tell him I'd be scared if what I had really been telling him on that very casual interview did make sense. Which was exactly what I felt or experienced the very first time he uploaded a material out of a casual talk that happened on my table when he came by one morning during my birthday. And it built certain excitements for me to listen to myself whether what I was talking made sense. And I also have to review sometimes if the opinions or ideas expressed were indeed what was something I learned earlier. And so this is a big dare, because we are nobody in terms of wisdom imbibed. We're just this ordinary guy who tried to, learn from the simple reading experience we do, trying to also put them into practice. Hello, Rizal. JP is watching. I am so engrossed with my life, my partner, my friend, who I just formally met online last night before I slept, actually. We had a good conversation. This guy is an actor, a theater actor, okay, and shared to me some videos of his craft. Glad to have you on board, okay. I was not able to, you know, have a chance to check on who is watching and who is not because I focused on my recording. I was used to having three screens to capture on my video, but since I could not open my page for this upload, I decided just so I could use my other mic. As you can see, I have three mics on my chest, that I would record one in case there is a need for it to upload. And that's the reason, JP, yeah, all right. I was very inspired to have met you last night, talked to you with a very sensible, time, your sensible time. Thank you. It was getting late. I was asking for the support of this friend who could be instrumental to, you know, share whatever videos he would appreciate to his friends just so it can earn some views. Okay. I don't know where I am now, but if I may remember, I'm just excited about the day to day discovery of an interest, an inspiration that only happens now that I get myself busy into this thing, which never happened before because every time I'd wake up, it seems like every day doesn't pose any challenge. Okay, but now, as you have to think of how you can sustain on the content that you opened on social media, that's when I would get back and review my readings, if not go to some life quest, if only to learn more. Just so when moments of sharing come, like when I shall be driving tomorrow early morning, but I'll be actually spending overnight with this friend. This friend is really someone I appreciate so much, and this is the one that's posing me a lot of challenge because he's one kind of a friend who will never ask you to prepare on anything, as he is a very surprising fellow. He's a friend who is full of surprises, and he is a self-confessed mind disturber that I just happen to like somehow because I need one like him. Thank you, Charm, for coming in again to support me on my live. Take note, I did not open my page. Yes, thank you. I'm quite far from my screen, and so I could not be reacting right away until I opened one that I could. But I was able to really set this up in the right distance just so my image in the screen would improve, unlike in the past. So I find an angle. I really have to make it a little more professional this time compared to before. So since I only have my bedroom as my studio, I could do it outside, but although there's also a big space there, but I would find this place cozy, because every time I'd feel tired, there's that bed for me to lay on. Outside also, well, there's a very cool air conditioning unit, but it's too cold for me to open it there because well, it's supposed to accommodate a lot of people, and so that's one reason I would rather stay in my room to do my vlog or my live. Okay, so inch by inch, day by day, I would try to find out how I can improve my presentation. Oh, I was able to move on the tripod in my left. That was the video for my YouTube. I would have felt sorry for that though. Anyway, yes, thank you very much. Thank you for my viewers on my page. Okay. At my YouTube, sometimes when I go live, I would see one or two actually viewing till finish. That was my second experience. But I wouldn't be surprised as once it's posted with ads running there, there also come ending up with some viewers as I would check on it on a day-to-day basis. You know, I still am in the period of excitement as I have just newly monetized these accounts. So I hope I won't get disappointed as I would see a very minimal response for now. It's not growing, the number is not growing that very impressively, but at least it's growing. Yes, thank you, Charm. Thank you, my friend JP Rizal, for still being there. Okay. I think this guy is from Batangas and he's a good character. He's a commercial model, an actor, a theater actor. I suspect he was a director because he was holding the one that directors are holding. But he told me he's not. All right, so, okay. I wish to have some reactions from my page just so I could make a pause to my story. As this will be a very short live experience because lunch is running fast. Okay. And after which I shall be making my necessary preparation for my trip because that would involve an overnight experience. There are friends waiting for me in the place where we book for our overnight stay tonight. Tomorrow, we shall not be doing overnight as we need to go home because the following day we have a party, the birthday of my seventh grand girl or granddaughter. And so I have to be home whether or not the event would last late. That was already a promise. That's why I cannot take my wife with me. So I'll be alone to do an overnight, you know, activity with friends out in the north. That's an out of town, okay, for the event that I shall be attending tomorrow with my friend. I tried asking my friend for the first time what is there for me tomorrow. And as usual, if I'm the guy who was not used to his way of responding me, as he would always tell, well, as usual, pre, alam mo naman tayo, kahit ano nang mangyari, handa naman tayo doon. I hated that comment before as I don't feel very confident enough to match my skill with him. But I would be forced when you come across with a friend like this who also invest his confidence in you. Then you just have to be kapalmuks na lang, no? And good na lang that all the couples that was done in the past did work naman. So we're here for each other. A very glib, talented, not young man because he is already of age, although still single. But I'm glad he found someone that I hope he'll be serious this time to consider for walking down the aisle. And he promised that I told him, if you're ready to settle, then let me be one of the sponsors. And he said, no, you will be my best man. I laughed over the idea. I just could imagine how a best man like me would look like on a wedding. Although I thought that best men are only for unmarried or for singles. I just don't know, as he is just also that powerful, to craft his own event. But I just actually imagined it will be the first time I never tried to become a best man of anyone. And when I do, This is the best man who is already a granny. Okay? All right, so I get lost over some things I would like to share on my life today as I was carried away by my excitement. And every now and then I see changes on the wall, on my screen. My thoughts would shift into a new direction. Okay. Alright, if I may get back to the story, as in it's only now in my life that I would do at least a little preparation for myself for anything that could happen in the day. The usual preparation I do is to get back into the materials I imbibed on, be it on some blogs, blog material, reading material, videos that I have come across, learning from. And the good thing about getting back into that reading material or article is the more you get back to it, the more you widen or you make your ideas deep and profound. Because as you allow yourself, from the moment you imbibe those opinions, those ideas, and as you allow yourself to experience and apply them, getting back this time and browsing them again will make you realize not only what you have applied, but some things that you have missed to understand in your first attack of that material. And that made me a little more broad, a little more, I would say, I hate to use the term learned, but not learned in terms of education, but more on the experience, as I now could relate better and more deeply those opinions that I used to imbibe the first time I read them. So that was it. Uh, it added color to my life, though, as I get to validate that some of the things you thought were not as good as you imagined them to be, but when you get back to focus on what principles that you picked it to guide for your direction for in your life, and as you learn it through experience, through all the failures that went through, and getting back to review it, you will have a better chance, a better idea of, you know, trying to reshape them, relearn and realign to how things get more bright or brighter this time. And as you would use them for a new piece of advice or mentoring piece for others, you'd sound a little more credible because somehow you're talking about the voice, your voice of experience. It has been part of what you have tried on. Because the nature of everyone like you and me being a soul that I learned upon in my reading is this soul is very explorative, uh, and it cannot be contained, it cannot be boxed. And regardless of what wisdom or knowledge we would say, because wisdom now becomes the higher level of where that knowledge will bring you. Regardless of what knowledge you imbibed on, it can never be a knowledge that's only one element in transforming, because to grow or to transform would involve our knowledge and the knowledge being tried in experience, which now becomes wisdom, or we can say that made us a transformed being. Okay. So this far, before, I had assumptions that even at early age, because we had this early assumption that we mature early at our age. But the maturity that comes with age and experience is much more profound, especially if the things you suspect you learned, you will now come to experience and try. So after you validated principles, opinions, and tried to apply them in your life and you see results, that's when you would sound a little more credible and your life will get to be a little more stable. So, in fact, during the last trip I had with my friend, I reiterated to him the passage that you will often read or hear a king talking in his book, King of Proverbs and Songs of Solomon, when he will always reiterate that everything a man does in his life, for everything he wanted to achieve or run after or chase, for which star that is an experience of chasing after the wind that I can relate. And maybe some of you could relate. Depends on where your experience level is. Okay. So I think this is one topic I would like to share before I end up my live today. For many of us, as often I'm asked by a friend, be it in the issue of love, faith and hope, and his dreams, his goals, our goals. We believe that all of these stuffs will only happen when we reach for a star or when we reach heights or achieve that dream which we are really aiming for. But if I realized as I came back to those materials I kept consulting on, that when we bank or anchor our happiness, our joy, even the love that we are looking for, that hope outside of us, meaning because of a mentality that you call uh, I'll be happy when syndrome, okay? And that always has influenced many of us, okay? And so we thought all the while that we can only get happy when we reach there. And we've reached so many places, we've captured and achieved so many dreams. But after there, the feeling is gone. You know why I come to realize the beauty of such wisdom I discover? I've been teaching it. It came out very often in my sharing moments with a friend. The reason why these are all elusive is because all these things, if we are dependent on the externals, on all the things we sought after for, I mean, this is not what really can give us true joy, true happiness, because that essence of happiness and joy and hope and everything we look forward for, which are all somewhere in the end of the rainbow or the tunnel, they are all provided for us by a mind or, or by a God who gifted us with a mind who can process all of these emotions for us, that if we know how to maximize and to live that emotion of bliss, that emotion of joy, that emotion of success, even before these things happen, by virtue of our imagination. And that's why we have a mind who can visualize. And as we imagine what we visualize and feel the emotion, even that moment without reaching those stars can give you that feeling of that ecstatic moment, feeling of ecstasy, emotions of bliss, as if you already achieved your dream. And from that point alone in your life, which does not need you to reach too far, somewhere, you already would live to the life of your dream. And for all you care, the moment that you achieve that in your imagination as you visualize things, whether you like it or not, that gift of the mind that God gave you will lead you there as it attracts opportunities and synchronicities that others may call luck to bring on you for the life that you desire. Okay, and that is when, as it comes, you will be so immersed, wrapped up with joy without investing too much effort and too much expectation. And that has helped me somehow in this journey when I would be overridden by these expectations, by the wiring to get ahead in the race. And when you now suffer the consequence that you become so stressful because of sleepless nights. And oh, I'm glad Ron Lien is watching. So where is my friend Ron? Okay, I'm glad you're there. Yeah, I hope I'm making sense to you. Huh? Yeah, I was just bringing on actually my experience for my day-to-day experience now that I am into this thing. Uh, as I discover a new excitement, a new day, without me knowing that this is the secret to such a discovery. And I was able to unlock some things that somehow we have come to realize, but we don't appreciate much and put so much meaning on. And we move into life continually doing the same without having to celebrate some few highlights we need to, because we set them aside for nothing as we continue to chase for the stars. Okay, so wow. Oh wow. So anyway, I'm receiving some messages here in my other gadget for some friends who could just be watching on this broadcast. Okay. I would have a better chance to know who they are if my two Facebook accounts are open, but since I only am opening my profile, I have a limited idea of who these friends are watching. Okay. I run this along with YouTube recording because I need more materials on my live, knowing that if this material would catch interest and interest on some anybody who would drop by. There are I saw in my wife's YouTube as I watch her that even in my live there are ads running. So I'd seize the every opportunity by which I could catch some of these ads running, and I just hope that when you see them as you would visit on my YouTube channel, to open up any videos as you open to run them and as you see those ads, one word of favor if you could kindly not skip them until the end. Now, I have two or three kinds of ads running actually. One as you open the video. In the middle, there also are those that runs, but definitely at the end there are still two or three more videos where we are paid for when you watch it without skipping. Yeah, Luis, thank you for being there. And Luigi, my very pogi friend, the Japorm. I have two Japorms actually on my watch list. And of course, I have this very handsome friend in Canada. Okay, proud to have him as the partner of my best business partner, my partner in crime, who now is stationed, very stable in Canada. Okay, glad to have you on my live. Okay. Wow, Luis, thank you for being there. I think it takes you for me to experience a star. Sorry, but there's a button there where you can actually send me stars. Purpose of which is to enable us to create more content in the future, as there are so much to invest on to improve our content. Okay? This is my classmate in high school, who I was not so bonded during the high school days, as he used to be our matinee, our idol, and he doesn't spend so much time with us because he may have the every quality for everyone to idolize him on. And he spent the rest of his time as I don't know if he's already a doctor for now, but he left the country as a med tech to work in LA for too long. And he started coming back here years before until he was here just months ago for a mini reunion. And the bonding gets closer among us because he is one guy who probably sought back for those days to pay back for the time he was not actually maximizing on. We had good time with him as we spent nights of bonding when he was around, and he left us, one of us with a heavy heart, not necessarily broken, as still waiting for how he could align with our one of our classmates, a local celebrity in town. Okay. Yes, Luis, glad that you are there. Okay, so I'm enjoying a lot of guests. And I was telling last night for this quality of guest that views me on my video, on my live, I'm not so stressed to be, responding to their messages, as they really are very good spectators without, trying to disturb me with a shout out and all of that, as they don't need to be recognized. Definitely because they're not running a page. Okay? So somehow it would be a different experience if I open altogether my Facebook page, as most of them viewing there are bloggers like me, neophytes who would love to catch my attention to promote on their page to be recognized, as we all need each other in this journey. Okay. And that's one reason, as I already 75 to 80% monetization, road to monetization on my page, that I asked if I could put into professional mode my profile, which my friend said, why not? Had I discovered it earlier, I wouldn't be spending time to open up a new page, which was very nerve hacking though. And that was where I did sleepless nights, as the requirement there is double. It takes at least 10,000 followers and above for it to be monetized, while on the profile, which I already passed with a maximum number of friends turned automatically to become followers, that could have been an account to work on. Anyway, so once again, I'm taking my time before I would do a preparation for my out of town trip today to spend it on live, as I already make this experience a part of my day. Okay. What makes me so, you know, inspired and moving forward is when I would look at some personalities like these friends who are now watching me. I never expect them to be enjoying my live stream. One such thing is, of course, the Canadian friend who is a partner to my best friend in Canada. I hope my partner is also watching. Okay. Of course, I need to acknowledge the presence of my longtime architect friend, a model, okay, an architect. I don't know if he's also an engineer at the same time, but he used to be my architect over a construction that was unfinished. Then I have this friend in the US, Luis. But of course, my very loyal friend who was there ahead of everyone, the theater actor friend that I met last night from Batangas. Okay, I have to get back into knowing the real name that he revealed to me, as I can only see his pen name on my screen. Okay, so that's it. And of course, there's this new guy coming. Let me check who this is. Alvin Garcia McKing. I used to see this guy on my live. I'm not so familiar, as we haven't encountered yet on a convo. This is my first dare to actually do live in the morning. My usual time is usually as early as 2 in the afternoon, moving up even towards late at night. I doubted and suspected that I wouldn't have so much viewers viewing my live today, as this is a very busy hour. Okay, so yes, thank you guys. Thank you so much for, I would call it a support actually. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, you may message me for anything you want. What I usually do on my live, friends, is, especially before I open this profile, as I would open a live stream on my page, I will just do a greeting and talk very shortly, and would wait upon the guest who would come by, and would also wait on the moment where they would ask me for certain concerns that we can discuss on. As I was telling them that I don't have a ready topic to share, because I feel that if I would, it may not be a point of interest to some who just come and would come in late. And so to provide everyone a chance, especially those who had been actually my viewers who've been following me through and who reads on my blogs, who viewed on my videos both on FB as well as on the YouTube, I took this as an opportunity for them to be able to engage and to ask more opinions or clarifications over the material they saw, that they may disagree or they may want further clarifications. That was my take until the wife of Ron had always been reiterating and correcting the way I handle my life when she wouldn't see any activities because the rest of the activities I do was just to wait on your concerns, asking for what more to say about it. And normally, only very few would do that. Okay, so, okay. Experience such as this sometimes would make me suspect if, especially the first tries, for few tries in my life, as I do not know how to really move ahead and to, imagine going on for 30 minutes or even more. But when I tried it, there were even instances where I was able to talk for 2 hours straight and go live for more than 3 hours. Okay, so it little by little erode my fears. Our fear really is our number one enemy, that if we continue to entertain them, we never can do so much. We cannot even decide what to do if there is that fear inside our minds and in our hearts. So until we fight those fears, we will never come to discover what is there ahead of us. And that is one thing I learned getting into or embarking into this journey. Okay. I'm supposed to be very, awkward saying this with my friends and classmates who are more intellectual than I am. I hate to be making them feel that I'm just intellectualizing late at my age. But I used to have classmates both in the high school and college who is attending to my broadcast. Some of them are happy for me. Some of them I do not know what is their take. I don't know with this guy in the US, Luis. If you can please share whatever is your take on the things we are doing at our age now. I don't know what really is your journey right now, but I can share to you a lot of things as I discovered another thing, if ever that's part of the thing you wanted. Like, remember what I have given you while you were around? There's, what do you call that? I was introduced to something, although it's a really high quality, because it's stem cell from plants, and it's proven very effective. Well, this thing that I was actually given at, if I may show you, I cannot also advertise. Luis, there's this thing that's made in Malaysia, which like Viagra, you're very familiar, as it was being manufactured or invented to function for ulcer. It turned out to become a Viagra drug for erectile dysfunction, as the experience of those ulcer patients who use it was proven to be very effective for erection. So I listened to the presentation last night and they tried it on me as my pressure shoot up. I'm not anymore into maintaining my meds after I changed to a lifestyle that curbs my maintenance. Okay. And I personally hated my maintenance as I would feel its side effects on me. And so when I shifted to a lifestyle, eating greens by blending them and minimizing on my carbs, but shifted to, fat and protein for fat burning rather than using my insulin to burn on my sugar. It helped improve my health. It reshaped my my body terrain. I came back to where I started when I also started to backslide and went back to the old practice. But any moment soon, especially that friends are getting to deliver me something to help me on continue on that journey. I may get back into that lifestyle very soon. I just gathered the material, which was a 90-day material online, if I could view them again to guide me into that journey. Actually, if you're familiar or enrolled on, this is not, although the master, what do you call this, guru or the worldwide, the CEO of this program, who happens to be Eric Idmeads, is connected with Mind Valley also. But I was under the first Filipino coach who was very trained and expert into simplifying it the Filipino way. And talking of Wild Fit 90-day challenge that I enrolled, that changed my lifestyle and changed my health. Somehow, because of stubbornness, confident that I already was able to curb my, you know, my health for the better. And when my chef left me to prepare for my day-to-day, you know, diet, that was when I started also to backslide because it was moving towards Christmas, believing I could end it up after the holidays, only to realize that the moment you get back into eating grains and unprocessed or processed food, it again accumulates those gut microbiome that I discussed with a friend, responsible for giving you the cravings, okay, which I am now craving so much. I have to reprogram again my taste buds to, wipe out those bad elements and microbiome in my gut just so I could get back into a more healthier lifestyle and enjoy a more vital and vigorous health. And with products like this one, Luis, that is again delivered to my doorstep last yesterday, which functions almost very closely to the one I gave you when you were around. The only difference is this is a little more cheap compared to that. Okay, I yet have to try this on, although I still have so many supplies of exactly the same one I gave you. But I would try this, and if the effect is getting to be close, if not more, then I'd totally shift to that and promote this than that, because that was rather very expensive. Okay. However, if by your experience you're feeling that you're comfortable with the effects of it and would like to try more, as it was already more than enough time, I don't know how far you've gone through it, if that was halfway that you have already consumed, you can start actually advising me by text or by chat if you would like to avail more of that bottle, as it is easier shipping it to your country. That is a Singaporean product, so we can book our order directly from Singapore and then let our office in Singapore ship it to your address in the US. All right, so, well, I also get to see some viewers on my YouTube. I really am amazed for YouTube, subscribers to be also making babad and staying you with your live. Usually they just go through it in their free time. But unlike in Facebook, where I would enjoy your company, like many of you guys still there on my live, okay? All right, so I promise to do this only for an hour, okay? So there are minutes more before I would decide to finally close this live stream, as lunch is already, I believe, served in the table. So as I would open to get there, I know there's food already there. I hear them already, some of my family members munching. Okay, I have a few minutes to go through for my live. Okay, thank you guys for being there very consistently through this experience. Okay, yep. JP, are you still there? Can I see a text from you if you're still around? And of course, Ron, how are you? I'm really happy to see you on my stream. J, musta? ¿Cómo estamos? So I would love to see you messaging me after this live so I can engage with you on your messages. Okay, and of course, my best friend, my classmate in high school, Luis. The still guapo, guapitong matinee idol that we used to have in our high school days. Mhm. Oh, about 5 minutes more and I'll be off. Yeah. Thank you, friends. Thank you, folks, for being there for me. Okay. All right. This is another very inspiring moment, another inspiring experience. That's why it becomes getting to be a part of my day to go live, you know. I believe this could be an energy to fuel me for my trip alone, traveling bound northwest and spending overnight with my friend. Well, there's this friend I know waiting for me there, such as the couple who owns a secondary school with a huge number of students enrolled. We held reflections with our teachers for the two schools a month back. It was not so much planned really, and we did it actually on a venue that they acquired already. Okay, they were the ones who bought the unfinished mansion of Sunny O somewhere in Toledo, where we held our recollection with their teachers of Pigafi. Um, I'm not very well versed in this acronym for the name of the school, but I know it's called Pigafi. And we did it to around almost close to 50 teachers back then, which happened on Good Friday. No. It was a Holy Wednesday. Yeah, during the Lent. Okay, that's why it was perfect for reflection actually. And they were lucky to have witnessed over a material that I just actually have collaborated, or it it was a maiden presentation for my breakthrough or ultimate stress management module. Okay. Okay, which is a deep dive into a course of discovering and knowing the gift of emotion, that if we are emotionally intelligent, if we know how to manage them, that is the secret to stress management as well. Okay, coming up is a new module on how we try to collaborate emotional intelligence with energy psychology. We're studying on that presentation. Very much intertwined though, but with the understanding of how our energy affects us without our knowing it. And when we get to understand also the effects of how we can handle or how we discover or how we control our energy, because it's very influencing. Our energy influences the people around us. And so when we get to know this as another secret, then it can be an added resource or an added wisdom for us to navigate, that we can so fully manage our lives and the people that we relate in our journey, making life more meaningful, making the journey more enjoyable, and making our life more blissful as we try to bring back, to contribute to the world that which we learn from our experience, as a soul is always there to explore. So at this moment, friends, We are almost about to close the chapter of this stream as we have just reached 1 hour. I would like to thank you once again for being a part of my day today. And I just hope that in my next live stream, I can expect to see you watching again. Thank you very much, and God bless us all. Okay? All right.